Okay, we are live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube. All right. So, um, somebody in the group commented that they were struggling to feel some happiness today and were a little concerned about doing a happiness proclamation in the group. And I'll quickly share a little bit of my backstory so you understand where I'm coming from and, potentially why I do this work, even. Is because I used to be miserable. I used to be depressed. I used to not want to be here anymore. And I spent my life uh, experiencing extreme highs through synthetic usage of chemicals. And I had the highs and then the lows from that. And then I was just unhappy because I told myself that's who I was. And then I got to a point where, three strikes, I wasn't out. And I realized that I was here for a reason, here for a purpose, and that staying in this state of misery and unhappiness was no longer an option. Now, I wasn't getting the support that I felt that I needed to change. So after waking up one day, not expecting to wake up, I made a very conscious decision to claim back my life. It was painful. It had a whole heap of challenges around it. But I realized for me and my experiences that staying in this state was only hurting myself. And the people in the past that had hurt me and the situations that occurred, they were in the past. And those people didn't care. And it's like that whole saying, it's like holding onto a hot rock to hurt somebody else doesn't work. It only hurts yourself, right? So, let the hot rock go, right? Anyway, so I've done a lot of study around happiness and done a lot of work on myself. And I know how it feels to feel like you can't be happy and that there is no joy for you and that everybody else gets to feel this amazing way and somehow you're not worthy and you're not allowed. And so today I want to share three things that will support you to shift out of that, move out of that, and really start creating a life that feels good. Because at the core of who we are, the core of being human is we want to feel safe, we want to feel secure, we want to feel loved, right? And when we are born, we are all open to that. And unfortunately, circumstances are the things that change that belief, right? So, three hacks, right? The first one is permission. We spend our whole lives asking for permission and permission to express feelings, to express joy, to express our opinions, to do things that we want. Even in primary school, we have to get permission to go to the bathroom, right? So we actually are trained to be permission-based creatures. And sometimes we forget that we can grant that permission to ourselves. So a very, very simple happiness hack is get some Post-it notes or a little piece of paper, and I want you to write on it, I'm allowed. Now, I always have these Post-it notes, even now after doing this for 5 years, because let's face it, I'm 45. So I've spent basically 40 years, or maybe a little less now. I think I've been doing this actually a bit longer, probably about 7 years. So I've spent all this time before that waiting for permission to do things, because it's not just school, it's not just parents, it's not just friends growing up, but then we go to university or we go and get a job. There's always somebody telling us what to do. And we train ourselves to look externally for the emotional barometers, for the permission. And so if people around us aren't happy, who are we to be happy? If everyone's at work being miserable, who are we to be happy? There's a thing called mirror neurons where we tend to match, neurologically, we match the people around us so we fit in. So the first thing I want you to do is start giving yourself permission. Now, I have this at my desk. I have them on my door. So whenever I leave the house, and I have 2 exit points, I'm reminding myself I'm allowed. I'm allowed to be happy. I'm allowed to do good work. I'm allowed to have an opinion. I'm allowed to feel good. I'm allowed to dress how I want. You know, I'm allowed are two very simple, powerful words that you can say to yourself. And if you say it enough, it becomes second nature. So if you're friends with me on my personal Facebook, if you've been following my work for a little while, you'll see that especially over the years, I've really given myself permission to speak. And, you know, this is what we talk about more in alignment is permission to be who you are and permission to be yourself is so important. It's a fundamental driver for human happiness. But we layer over all of these rules and permissions and beliefs and strategies. We have to sacrifice, suffer, martyr ourselves. Like we're not allowed to be happy. But guess what? We are. And when you give yourself permission, it gives other people permission. So that's the first hack, permission. How are you, Joe? The next one is intention, right? So we're going through life and I know for me, I used to just think things happened to me, happened around me. I had no control. Like I was a victim and I was not intentional in how I felt. My emotions were running riot, out of control. So then I ran out of control. I partied way too hard in my 20s, way too chemically driven and motivated for happiness, which then caused huge crashes and was not good for my mental health at all. So the power of intention, right? So this is giving your brain a focus point for happiness. Now, it's a really simple question that you ask yourself, and I'm going to use happiness as the intention question. It does work for other feelings and emotions, but we're in happiness in the happiness group, simplified happiness. So let's focus on it here. So the intention question would be, and you can moderate it to fit your language, in how many ways can I choose to be happy today? Right, so write that down. In how many ways can I choose to be happy today? Hi, Shauna. Hi, Maria. I hope you're all still watching. In how many ways can I choose to be happy today? Right. So the power of this question is the choice. In how many ways, so it doesn't limit your options, in how many ways can I choose to be happy? Now, if you want to add some more juice to it, after you've asked that question for a little while, in how many ways can I continue to choose happiness in my day? In how many ways can I continue to choose happiness in my day? Because when you put something like continue in there, the presupposition in the brain, it's already telling your brain you're already happy. So you're continuing to be happy. Now, if you really, really want to work this question, really set it up purposefully in your day. So I have all little alarms and reminders in my phone for all different things. If you set your alarm 3 times during the day to go off with that reminder, in how many ways can I continue to choose happiness in my day? You are reminding your brain, you are triggering your brain. I don't want to go into too much detail here because otherwise we'll be here forever. But you need to tell your brain what to focus on. You need to tell your brain what to look for. You have a thing called the reticular activating system. If you're telling your brain you're unhappy all the time, it's going to process the unhappy information and bring that forward to you consciously. If you're telling your brain that you are looking and continuing to choose to seek happiness or be happy or choose happy, your brain is going to filter all the happy things in your day. And that's going to be the focus. So the permission, I'm allowed. Intention, in how many ways can I continue to choose happiness in my day? All right. Set your alarm 3 times a day. If you do that for 30 days, you will have a shift. You can't help but shift. You are reprogramming your brain to look for happiness. And if you've not given yourself permission in the past to be happy, you need the time for this to become a habit, right? Hi, Lisa. Hi, Amanda. So permission, intention, and then moments, right? So we exist in the moment. We exist in the moment, right? So if we are, I think it was at the Dalai Lama or someone is known to say, if you're focused on the part, if you're, what is it? Now I'm going to butcher it. Now I can't remember. But something about if you're focused on the past, you feel a certain way. If you're focused on the future, if you're focused on the future, you're stressed and anxious about something you can't control. If you're focused on the past, you're depressed and you can't change it, right? You can't change the past. You can rewrite the meaning. You can rewrite the stories around it. In alignment, we do work around this. We go back. We look after our inner child. We do all of this stuff. But a constant reminder for me is, how do I choose to feel in this moment? So it kind of ties in with intention, but just in this moment, right? So I'm going to peel it off my laptop. It's pretty battered, but I have this Post-it note stuck. You can see it's all torn and hacked. I have this Post-it note, and I see it whenever my laptop's open, right? What is my intention in this moment? In this moment, right? So for me, this one is more about, am I leading the conversation? But what is my intention in this moment, right? So you have that little Post-it note, and when your reminder for your intention isn't firing off, you've just got that there. Like if you could see my desk. Here's another one that I have. Everything is always working out for me. That little Post-it note that just lives there. I've got I'm allowed. I've got it gets to be easy. I am worthy. I don't need to sacrifice. Now, this 120 reasons thing's another activity, but I'm not going to overload you with more things. Here's another question. What would my highest and best do right now? What would the global sparkles, who is my highest version of me, what would she do in this moment, right? So don't be afraid to use Post-it notes to give yourself those little reminders. Because if you've spent a lot of time teaching yourself to be unhappy, give yourself the time to teach yourself how to be happy again. And work with your mind, work with your body, and don't just feel like you have to pretend to be happy all the time, because then that just feels fake. I'm not a huge fan of the whole fake it till you make it. It's like, no, how about we take conscious action and put things in place that are genuine and actually work? Can you trick your own brain? I guess you can to a certain degree. But if you're tricking your brain, is that sticky? Is that going to last? Is that actually changing you at a neurological and a physical level? Now, I'm going to talk about alignment now, because in alignment, we do this work. I talked to you about your cellular body as well, your nervous system. The physical body, for a lot of coaches, is a huge thing that is missed in actually helping you create your happiness, right? And then we talk about the mind, we talk about the emotion, we do the rewriting of experiences, rewrite your stories, rewrite the meaning that you put on things. Because if you're like me, so I got to 28, was just like, something has to change. I can't keep hurting myself because of people that don't matter. And then I started doing personal development, got to 35, had my last huge hit of depression, and then was like, no, keep working, keep doing the tools, right? Because if you've trained your body for 35, 40 years to be unhappy, anyone who says they can solve it for you and fix you overnight, they might believe that they can, but I'm a little skeptical, because I've lived the snapback. There can be snapback, because if you don't understand how your physical body is working and you feel good and then you crash back and you beat yourself up over it and you feel like you failed, it's not your fault, right? So there are so many layers of understanding around fixing your own mental health. And if you need antidepressants and stuff, take them, right? If you need that support, if you need a psychologist, if you need all of those things as well, do it, right? I've spent 20 years on and off antidepressant medication. I have no shame around it. So what you find in alignment, where it looks more as like, we do talk a lot about your purpose and your identity in there as well. Like, this is about you aligning into who you are, who you truly are, before the world told you that you couldn't be that person. Because quite a few times when you are out of alignment and when you are feeling unhappy, there's some identity work and some belief work that does need to be done as well. So if you like this kind of stuff and you want more of this stuff, I've been coaching and working on myself for 15 years, studying human potential, the mind, the body, the spiritual, the energetic connection. And you can find happiness, and it doesn't have to be hard. It does need to be a conscious choice, and it does need to be daily action, because it's the daily action and the incremental steps and those changes there that will change your life. So I'm going to pop up a link for alignment in the comments so you can have a look. It's the first time I've run it, so I'm doing it at a super low price. It's only $250, and you get to work with me for 8 weeks. It's a small group. There will be live group calls, so there'll be coaching. You'll have your own little private Facebook group so we can talk really plainly. I will share my knowledge, my experience, more tools for rewiring your mind and creating shifts and doing all of those things for you as well. It's going to be very dynamic and very real. So I can give you a certain amount of content in here, but if you really want to create that change at a much deeper level and be fully supported in doing so, I suggest you check out Alignment. The content is released on the 10th of February, and we go for 8 weeks. So check it out. If you have any questions about that or any questions about what I've talked about in this live, please post. Please, you're here in my Facebook group or you're watching me on YouTube because you're looking for something. And there is no shame, no fear, no guilt, no need for worrying about judgment by reaching out for help, because it's time. It's 2020. It's a new decade. Everyone's like, it's the new me. So let's actually make it a new you. All right, Facebook group, I'm ending the live. Peace out. I'll pop the I'll pop the link to Alignment in the comments for you. Have a fantastic day, and I will keep an eye on the comments. Love you being here. And if you have friends that need this, tell them to come and join the group, right? The more the merrier. All right, let's support each other to have simplified happiness and live amazing lives, right? All right, and I'm back on the YouTube stream. So, reach out, Trudy@trudypavlovsky.com. I will put the link for Alignment in the comments. So come and join either the group or join the course. Seriously, it's going to be one of the best investments you will ever make for your mental health. And I don't say that lightly. I really don't. So here is to your happiness. Bye.